laughter yoga is more effective than abdominal crunches.
What? You mean in terms of stimulating your core muscles? Oh, I love that.
So the laughter yoga exercise that does that one is silent laughter. That's the one where you're not supposed to be making the noise. The air's coming out, but you're not making any sounds.
Hello and welcome to the Business of Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy, and my friends, today is going to be a great day because today we are laughing on purpose, intentionally, with great purpose, and I'm so excited to share with you this incredible person, Dr. Laura Collatz. Hello, Laura. Welcome to the show.
Hi there.
So excited to have you here. I'm so excited to be talking about laughter.
Laughter is the best medicine. That everybody says it. We've heard it for our whole lives, and I've got just all kinds of fun science to back it up, and I've got personal experience to make it, kind of hit home. We're using laughter in my office more, and I'm a certified laughter yoga instructor.
So cool. Okay, let me give you a really decent introduction here to welcome you to the show so that everyone knows who you are. Laura has her own private practice, dental practice, and she was a hygienist for 13 years and then started her own dental practice. It's called Enchanting Smiles Family Dentistry. Love that name, by the way. And if you're watching the YouTube version of this episode, you'll see Laura's glorious purple hair.
I am multicolored today, it's true.
And there's probably some fairy dust sprinkled in there, if I were to guess.
There's sparkly things in my head. It's true.
I love it. And so what we're talking about today is Laura's most recent venture, which is experiencing and exploring, and I say that purposefully because she's been living the work, exploring and experiencing laughter as a way for us to feel better about ourselves and do better in the world subsequently, which is so exciting. So you became certified as a laughter yoga instructor.
Yes.
All right, so tell us this journey. Like, how did this happen for you? As you were going through your own journey with understanding fulfillment and personal development and just feeling better about yourself, how did you come across laughter yoga?
So several years ago, I had a battle with complex PTSD, and I had over the years just kind of forgotten how to be happy. My body was just more and more in fight or flight all the time. And I went through a period of time where I was in early menopause and I wasn't able to eat. If you've ever had a baby or had morning sickness, it was that feeling all the time. Mm-hmm. Not a great way to lose 35 pounds. I would not recommend it. And my stress level was just higher and higher and higher. And I couldn't find any safe place. Mm-hmm. So I ended up having a team of heroes help put me back together. I finally sought help when my my left side was in a closed lock because I could not doctor that myself, and I couldn't talk to my patient like this. And I finally had to do something. I saw a biofeedback doctor who taught me how to breathe again. And that changed my life. I was not ready for laughter at that point, but at that point when I was doing trauma therapy, we had discussed it. And so if you fast forward to just several months ago, I saw that there was an opportunity to learn about laughter yoga or learn about it and get certified to teach it. And I thought, well, why just learn about it? So I'll just learn how to teach it. And I started this journey. I took classes, sometimes during work, where, I was not able to watch the entire Zoom class, but if you can be live for this, it's really helpful because we're teaching each other to teach laughter. And it's a really awkward thing to learn via Zoom.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Kind of an awkward thing to do in person. And so we we had to upload our videos of ourselves doing these exercises. And to get my certification, it was my challenge to do 1 minute of laughter for world peace every day for 40 days. Because when you laugh on purpose, you are changing your brain chemistry on purpose. When you laugh, you change yourself. And when you change yourself, you change the world. So my instructor, Dr. Kataria, is an MD. He's in India. And it's his philosophy that the more of us laughing, the more positive energy there is out there in the world. And the more of us are in sympathetic drive, more. So
Beautiful.
it was a really awkward spring because it's very strange to just laugh at yourself.
And a minute feels really long when you're doing something outside of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine. So talk to us a little bit biologically about what's happening. Let's go to the science end of things first, and then we're going to explore more of this. But what are we actually doing in laughter yoga biologically?
So many things. First of all, you're stimulating your diaphragm. Diaphragmatic breathing is engaging your parasympathetic nervous system. That's your rest and digest, think calmly, rationally, creatively. You're breathing out more than you're breathing in. So you're able to absorb more oxygen. You're able to breathe more deeply. You're actually, when you practice this over time, you can increase your lung capacity. We have tidal volume exercises and vital capacity exercises. The most important thing, in my opinion, though, is your body and your brain have this reverse feedback system going, and it doesn't know the difference. If you laugh because something's hilarious, your body is going to manufacture dopamine and serotonin. Those are the happy chemicals. Those are the ones that make your body go, ah, yay. And if you laugh intentionally, even if you just go, ha, 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 ha. If you do that for between 45 and 90 seconds, you're still going to get that great dump of chemicals. You're going to feel better whether you wanted to or not. You just have to laugh for a minute. That's it. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing to be in control of.
Yeah, to be able to turn it on at your own discretion. And, it reminds me of the studies of activating the muscles in your face for smiling. A very similar neurochemical pathway is ignited when we just force ourselves to smile, even if we're not feeling the smile, feeling it before we start. Yeah, grimacing. Yes. There you go.
Yeah. Yes. So that adage about fake it till you make it, in this case, it does apply.
Wow.
Because you can actually, you can elevate your own mood in minutes, and you can train yourself to respond differently to different stressful situations over time.
So cool. So how have you incorporated it in your personal and professional lives?
Well, so when I started doing this, we have a morning huddle. And if your office is like my office, we have, we have the bouncy one, we have the one who's just business all the time, the one who's trying to wake up and get her breakfast, and we have the grumpy one, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes they're all, and sometimes there's the sneezy one. We're all the dwarves.
I was going to say, happy, grumpy, sleepy,
because
sneezy.
My bashful is my grumpy sometimes, right? And so I'm telling them about laughter yoga, and I'm asking them to please help me for my homework. Help me with my homework for 1 minute, please, everybody. Just help me do my homework. And Grumpy is very grumpy about this, and she does not want to do this. And she says, and she's got this just attitude all over, like, you can't make me do this. and it's like she didn't want to even give it a try. Mm-hmm. So she sat next to me and went, ha, 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 like with an attitude for an entire minute. And knowing what I know now, I'm like, I won anyway. Because she felt better anyway, whether she wanted to or not. So initially incorporating it into the office was challenging. once I started teaching the staff exercises, it got a little bit better. We do specific exercises. And will you do one with me?
I would love to. Let's please practice one here. That would be great.
Okay. So I'm going to back up a little bit. This is called argument laughter. Okay. I'll have to tell you one more fun secret about laughter yoga before we do that. When you do intentional laughter with another person and you look them in the eyes, then your body's going to manufacture oxytocin too, which is your I love you hormones, right? So you're going to get that extra dump when you do this in a group. This is why it's important you look people in the eyes when you laugh with them. So you're going to hold up your arguing finger. Okay. And you're going to look at me and we're going to argue laughter. Ready?
So for those of us who are listening on the audio version, you're shaking and wagging your finger at us. Okay.
You got to laugh out loud. You have to say ha ha ha. Use your other finger. Very good. In laughter yoga, we have a cheer. We say very good, very good. Yay!
Very good, very good. Yeah!
And we stand and we do the power pose. So there are 4 basic principles with laughter yoga. We have breathing, which we just did. We have laughter exercise, which we just did. We have clapping, palm to palm, finger to finger, and we have childlike playfulness, which was our cheer. All of this is actually got a lot of science to it. It's really hard to feel bad when you say yay and you put your hands in the air.
Even if you're resistant to it, even if you're like, oh, this feels so weird.
Feels so weird, yay!
Yay!
It's still working for you whether you feel it is or not.
Yeah.
So.
I love that. I love that you mentioned the importance of the levity, the power of play, and that we make things so serious all the time. And there's really nothing that important. Nothing's that big or that serious or that devastating. Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, correct.
Mm-hmm.
So the same dental assistant who sat next to me and went, it was very grumpy. She will now come down the hall with me and I'll say, hey, Molly, what's your favorite laughter yoga exercise? And she'll go, and I'm hoping that at this point, because we've been doing these exercises for about 4 months, that she's maybe dumping out a little more serotonin and dopamine in her daily life when her body wants to argue.
Wow. Wouldn't it be fascinating to interview your staff ahead of time, kind of to get a little survey of their level of stress and anxiety and overwhelm, and then kind of get another survey a couple of months in and see how it's impacting their day?
It's true. I'm seeing a physical change. I'm seeing changes in them, and I had someone notice a change in me, and I was very surprised about. I know I was really happy about that.
Oh, tell us that story. What happened?
So out at the lovely place where I teach laughter yoga, I met a friend for lunch, and she hadn't really had a chance to wander around this cute little beverage district that we have, and one of my patients ended up waiting on me, and it's hard to tell who's who when they're in the mask, because I'm used to looking at them when they're upside down. And Lisa says to me, you are in such a good mood. Can I have some of that? And I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, well, and I'm thinking to myself in the back of my head, I have all of this stuff to do. I'm trying to learn all these things, and I'm overwhelmed. But yeah, I'm in a pretty good mood. So I thought about it, and I was like, well, I taught laughter yoga on Friday, and I got talked into coloring somebody's hair all night last night, but we sang the soundtrack to Hamilton while we did it. So yeah, I'm in a pretty good mood.
Wow. So you've noticed positive changes in your own life the more you've been practicing this.
Absolutely. And the more mood improvement I have, the more clear my thinking. I have actually, as of a week ago, I'm taking 0 psychiatric medicines.
Holy
My
moly.
psychiatrist and I had a talk last week. I had kind of taken myself tapered down, and I told him what was going on, and I told him how I was using the laughter yoga and how I'm just more intentional with everything. And it was a really nice meeting to have with my doctor that I thought I was going to be friends with for the rest of my life in a professional way. So yeah, that's been huge. I haven't needed any psychiatric meds, any kind of antidepressants or mood stabilizers or anything.
That's
Since
amazing.
about May.
That's so powerful. That's so powerful. And so this has become a daily intentional practice for you. It's not just a once in a while. This is daily. And it sounds like you've incorporated it not just at the office, but in your personal life as well.
I have, and I'm teaching. So I'm teaching once a month right now, and I need to get together with some people around town and organize my fall dates. I'm trying to put together what I think the group online teaching is going to be like, because you do need to be able to look at each other and laugh at each other, and that's hard to do on a screen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So if you can do that even together on a 9 people in a Brady Bunch style Zoom screen, then you're still able to look at everybody and laugh at everybody. Large in-person groups are very powerful. And I had a young lady at one of my sessions who started crying during one of the laughter meditations. After we do laughter yoga exercise, we sit around and we start with silence, and then we just let whatever is going to bubble out, and we giggle and laugh, and then we're silent again. But she started crying, and catharsis is catharsis.
Yeah, releasing that energy.
Yes. So, and I finish up my sessions with guided relaxation and yoga nidra. So I try to make sure that we, take all the happy that we just incorporated and got our brains to produce and feel and really just put that into the calm drive of your parasympathetic autonomic nervous system.
Fully embody it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that.
And you can bring it back more quickly.
Have you done any of this with your patients, just out of interest's sake?
So yes, usually these are the patients that are completely terrified. And then I just take over the appointment and I start making it all about me. So did you know? I'm teaching laughter yoga. And have you ever heard of this? And it gets their mind off the appointment. And I say, you got to do it like this. And hey, Molly, what's your favorite exercise? And sometimes I can't get them to laugh with me at all. I have had many patients that it's like they're afraid to even try. Laughter is really vulnerable.
Super.
It is. I've had colleagues tell me, no thanks, I'd rather just take my Prozac. Woo, that's a hard statement. It's hard to hear now, especially knowing what I know.
I'm so glad you said that, because I think saying it out loud, we recognize the insanity of that. But not to be judgmental of anybody who feels that way at all, but it's so true. It feels so uncomfortable that you think, oh, you know what, I'll just keep going. This is working for me right now. But you're right. If there's a way for us to do this without taking antipsychotic medications,
wouldn't that be lovely?
Wouldn't that be freeing
and lovely? And you get to be in control of it.
And all you have to do is be happy.
If you're listening to this podcast, chances are you didn't get into business to be miserable. The problem is that people feel that if their business gets busier, if they start becoming more successful, that happiness will eventually set in. But it can actually get worse. This is why I created the Business of Happiness Prosperity Coaching. In this one-on-one coaching, we look at how to redefine success on your terms and re-find the joy and the passion in your dream. Visit me at thebizofhappiness.com and become the happiest business owner you know.
all you have to, yes, identify what I work on with my clients is I identify the stressor. One of the ladies in my session of 2-3 weeks ago, she came in late, so she missed the beginning about, why it's good for you and why, why we do it, so that we can do this on demand and command. And I said, so what is the most stressful part of your day? And she said, well, I work for the county, so for me, it's answering the phone. And I said, oh, honey, I got you. That leads me to cell phone laughter, which is a favorite laughter exercise of ours. This is great for my front desk.
Ooh.
Sometimes we only just do this for 15 or 20 seconds in the morning, but you pretend to answer that phone.
Yeah. That's awesome. You literally just pretend you pick up the phone and then crack up into it.
You pantomime doing the thing.
Yeah.
And then you show people that you're laughing while you're doing the thing, and then pick up the other phone. Both phones rang. Okay, let them talk to each other, because that's hilarious too.
Oh my God. That's
and
awesome.
You can be saying anything you want to in your mind, but you're doing the activity. And while you are laughing, you cannot think thoughts. Laughter is meditative. I'm going to say that again. You turn off the thinking part of your brain when you're laughing. Once it catches and you're laughing, have you ever been so tickled or so amused that you just couldn't even breathe and the tears were just going? And it's like your next deep breath in felt amazing. Yeah. And you were tired, your abs hurt a little bit, but you felt better.
Yeah. And you're right. It's cathartic when you can get to that point. It does feel like an enormous relief. And I do just want to say here as a caveat for anyone listening that what we're talking about is not encouraging our listeners to just stop taking their medications. Of course, there's a time and place always for medications. And of course, there are many people who need and depend on them, and they're supporting them in their lives. But what a beautiful adjunct, even if that happens to be you, or what an incredible way to imagine enhancing our comfort zone and giving ourselves an opportunity to feel uncomfortable and be okay in it, and then maybe find the reward in it.
It's true. So it takes a long time to be comfortable with this. It does. So my one of my children is a house guest here with me for a little while, and he doesn't really like people. He's a little spectrum-y, and he's just very happy with machines and computers, and that's his comfort zone. So he doesn't come and laugh with me, and he doesn't want to be on camera with me. He's like, no, Mom, that's not my thing. And I found out the other day during my advanced laughter class that even if you just watch other people do it, you're hearing it, and it still helps.
Watching other people laugh helps to stimulate your own neurochemicals.
There are measurable results just watching other people do laughter yoga. There are measurable results just having been in the group that watched 6 minutes of stand-up versus 6 minutes of a documentary.
Wow. Is that why we love stand-up comedy?
It is. We feel better. We're breathing. Our cardiovascular system is pumping. We're getting more oxygen to our brain, to our body.
Wow.
We are. And we're making a zillion neuro connections at the same time. Well, what if you're the one that gets to put the neural connections where you want them while you're breathing? It all comes back to breathing. And I want you to know, I was listening to your podcast this morning about how taking a breath kept you from getting sued.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
It does. So I do laughter yoga exercises with my grandson. He is 6. And my grandson, I have a 1,600 square foot home. And in 2020, my oldest son and his fiance and their little boy and their dog moved in also. So I had 3 families living in my not big enough house, and Kieran was 4. So one of the things that we did with him is we made sure that he had the ability to go and take some kiki breaths. He would get upset because it's bath time. My daughter-in-law is Australian and she says bath. It's so beautiful. No, I don't want to, right? You know how a 4-year-old is.
Yeah.
Kieran, do you need to go take some kiki breaths? Okay. And he'd get mad, but he'd go stand in the corner and breathe, and then he would feel better. So really, breathing, just turning on that parasympathetic nervous system.
Yeah.
And recognizing when, hey, the other guy's taking over. You know, I want the fight or flight if I'm being chased by a lion. I do. Or if I just hit the pulp chamber in number 3. I want that ability to go, You know?
I don't know. There's almost a little bit of a benefit to being able to laugh when you hit that pulp chamber too, because if it's going to give you an opportunity to get back into your forebrain for more creative problem solving, and opposed to just trying to put out a fire.
There's so much in dentistry in particular, I feel like that we just take on ourselves like it's our fault.
Absolutely.
You know, and oh God, I better not hit this pulp. Well, if the decay was there, it's okay, baby. The decay already did that. Yeah. And I've been practicing for 12 years now, and I'm almost at peace with that. I dance around the pulp every single time. It's like, I just don't want to. And who am I trying to help?
Such a great realization. And I think that, you know, also having the awareness that nothing's that serious. Like there is a solution for that when you hit the pulp chamber. We have a solution. We have a treatment for that. Yep.
It's called an adage. We're fine.
Yep. In fact, we have more than one option. We have multiple options. I know. I love it. You know, I do want to also just touch base on something, because I've had the joy and pleasure of knowing you for a little while now and being able to watch you through this journey as you've been kind of developing this new, I'm not going to say a new identity, because it's always been your identity, but kind of stepping into yourself more and more, which has been such an honor to observe. And I know laughter yoga is a part of this. It's just a small part of the miraculous, beautiful person that you are. But I want to also touch a little bit on when your persona is so wrapped in something that is so linear and scientific minded, like dentistry. And we have so much pride and love for what we do and passion for what we do. And then there's a little whisper that something with fairy dust sprinkled on it is also calling your name, which it seems so antithetical. Those two worlds are so hard to merge and bring together. And I'm just thinking about audience members who might be listening and say, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to do something like laughter yoga. I'm a dentist, but that sounds so intriguing. And how fun would it be to do something? But it's still so difficult to imagine merging those two worlds. How have you done that?
Wow, that's a lot. Well, I started out being a fairy first. So
you were born a fairy. That's true.
Born a fairy, surely. No, when I was trying to get into dental school, I couldn't do dental hygiene. I had to quit 3 part-time dental hygiene jobs to go to school full-time to get my related sciences out of the way. So I answered an ad to be a fairy at the Renaissance Fair. And I got to wear pointy ears and glitter and wings and play with little girls all day long and get my picture taken a bazillion times. And they put me on the poster. I'm on the poster. That was the biggest ego boost of my life. And that was, I think, the beginning of me figuring out, this sparkle stuff is pretty cool. So I'm sitting on my toadstool and I'm doing my organic chemistry homework with my quill feather thing because I needed to be in. And I said to myself, I would be really foolish to not be the tooth fairy. So no, my entire practice is who I am. We have a fairy garden in the front of the office in a big case. We have a fairy garden on the side. The patients know when they come in, it's going to be it's going to be a different experience for them. We have Tiara Tuesday. I've told you about Tiara Tuesday, right?
No, I don't know about Tiara
okay.
Tuesday.
I'm struggling with Thursday still, but we have Tiara Tuesday, and I've got a mirror with this metal grate on it. And so I bought a lot of these little cheap metal tiaras. So I have them all hanging up on the grate on the mirror. We have Whimsical Wednesday. So we also have, cat headbands on or cat ears on a headband and different whatever's little boingy things. We have Fairy Friday. So imagine you're my patient and you walk into my office and you've been seeing me for years. I say, hey, how you doing today, Chuck? I come out into the lobby to see you, and I'm in my gown and my smock, and it's Whimsical Wednesday, so I've got my cat ears on, and I've got my N95 mask. I sent you a picture with my cat face drawn on it, and I say, hey, Chuck, how you doing? Sometimes I'll come out and I'll pretend that I'm like a kid at their door trying to sell them something, right? Welcome to Whimsical Wednesday. If you did not bring any whimsy with you, some will be provided for you. What's your favorite color? And they're like, so I'll send Chuck home with the devil horns or something on top of his hat. He has completely forgotten that he's wearing them. It's really fun when they wear the tiara to the grocery store. But I hear, put it on now and just forget that it's there. This is yours. Take it. And then they go to work. Or they go, to the grocery store or wherever, and somebody finally says, what is that thing on your head? And they're like, I love my dentist. So that's like the marketing that I do. So the patients, when I was telling them that I was taking laughter yoga, I was learning how to be a laughter yoga instructor, the response was, of course you are.
Love it.
And the ones that find out now that I teach it, well, of course you do. Why wouldn't you? It just it seemed like the next natural step.
So cool. So cool. Oh, I'm so inspired by you, Laura, because I think, in a world where so many people are so afraid to just be themselves and to just be unique, your uniqueness is what makes you so brilliant. And that's true for all of us, but it really pours out of you. And I'm just so grateful to know you. So thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
It's so awesome. I'd love to know, for you in your fairyland, what is your definition of happiness?
So happy. I can get there in 5 breaths. I just have to remember, I really can. Sometimes it's impeded by physical pain. I broke my neck when I was 18 years old and I have a spinal fusion. So my spine's a little wompy still, and bending over and looking upside down for a living is starting to take its toll. No, gratitude makes me happy. What is my definition of happy? A poofy cat in my lap purring. My tomatoes that have crawled all over their cages. I have a tomato forest in my backyard, and it's only 6 plants. I put them a little too close together. It's a tomato forest. It really just being able to appreciate everything that we have. I mean, when I was 18, I broke C5 and I lost the feeling in my right arm. I shouldn't really be here. I'm really, really appreciative that I can feel the sun on my skin. 4 years ago, I felt like I was walking on Jell-O, and I took a month off of work, and I didn't know if I was going to go back. My staff didn't know if I was coming back. My patients, nobody. And I spent about a week not even being able to walk out of my house. My stress had just gotten that bad. No, I'm grateful for all the things, even the unpleasant things. Like, oh, there's a cat box right down there. That's okay. Wow. I notice it and I move on, and I'm grateful that I have cats. I am that crazy cat human, by the way.
I love it. I love it. I just love everything that you just said.
Thank you.
I think it's such a great reminder that we don't look at life from the perspective of the abundance that's actually available to us. And we forget how precious and beautiful all those aspects are. And I'm just so grateful that you were with me today to make me laugh. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you. I have one more really fun fact.
Please.
Okay. I don't know the study, and I have to get all this for my research page for my speech anyway, so I will send it to you. Laughter yoga is more effective than abdominal crunches.
What? You mean in terms of stimulating your core muscles? Oh, I love that.
So the laughter yoga exercise that does that one is silent laughter. That's the one where you're not supposed to be making the noise. The air's coming out, but you're not making any sounds. Silent laughter, 1 minute every day. Abs. I will take that over crunches.
That just blew my mind. Oh my gosh. Okay, can you do that? Can we do that real quick?
Yeah.
Just because I know
Just
anybody wants. Wow, that's it for 1 minute. I made a minute. That is awesome. I'm so excited about that. You could do that in the car on the way to work.
Mm-hmm. You can do that. You can do that while you're working on the patient who has their headphones in, whose tongue is this big.
Yeah.
I gotta fix your airway.
Yep. Or the patient who shows up with a mouthful of food in between their teeth. You just laugh at that. Yeah. I mean, but you could just laugh at that too. I mean, there's so many things. Yeah. It's
my
really not that
office manager reminds me sometimes. She's like, "Hey, Doc, you want to laugh for a minute before you look at this?" And I'm like,
yeah. Thanks for that. Oh, awesome. Well, I do want to also let people know that you'll be speaking at the Spirit Collective, which is very exciting. What are you talking about at Spirit Collective? So this is for...
I'm talking about laughter. I have 12 minutes of laughter. So
amazing.
It's likely it'll be very similar to what we just talked about, because I think learning the argument, learning to not stress out when you pick up the phone, or some similar exercise would be really good. And who doesn't want the ab information?
Yeah. Who doesn't want to also get a six-pack?
Who doesn't want that?
So we'll definitely put in the show notes the link to that Spirit Collective, which I believe is happening August 5th, which is very exciting. Vanessa Emerson. So all of you dentists, dental hygienists, anybody in the dental field would be so benefit from joining that Spirit Collective, and we'll put that in the show notes. And then also we'll give links to your websites, Laura, as you offer more and more laughter yoga and courses and opportunities in your world. We look forward to seeing what you have to share with us in the upcoming months and years.
So I am in the process of putting together a retreat.
Oh, fabulous.
So, and it'll be a place where we can, yell and scream and hum, and paint, and then break stuff, make art out of what we just broke, and
very cool.
Let things out and then heal.
Oh, that's amazing. So, please.
I'm looking forward to having that ready to share. It's been just so helpful on my journey.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today, Laura.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to all of you for joining us. And there you have it. Laughter really is the very best medicine. So please give it a shot. Try it out. Get yourself uncomfortable a little bit, and let's see if you can grow some six-pack abs along the way. And remember, always, when you feel good, that's when you really can do good in this world. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.